day to be here today. What a fantastic day. We appreciate this great crowd being with us as well. My name's Brock Hill. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for Parks and Conservation for the state of Tennessee. We got some special dignitaries with us today. We'd like to recognize our Lieutenant Governor Ron Ramsey is over here. State Senator Steve Sutherland. Over here, right here he is. State Representative David Hawk. State Representative Kent Williams is with us. And we have some local elected officials as well. Unicoi County Mayor Greg Lynch. The City of Unicoi Mayor Johnny Lynch is with us as well. Is Glenn Tilson, the Irwin Vice Mayor, here? I got to notice that not so. Okay. Irwin City Administrator Randy Trevette. Is Randy here? No. I've got a list of 3 county commissioners from Unicoi County. I've not met any, but I'm going to read your names. If you're here, give us a shout out. Lauren Thomas, Mickey Hatcher, Teresa Simmerly. Any of you? Okay.
Doug Bowman, our district.
Okay. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you, sir. Are there any other local elected officials or regional elected officials that are here? Pardon me? Debbie Tittle, Register of Deeds. Debbie Tittle, Register of Deeds. Hey, Debbie, thanks for being here. And the sheriff is here. His name would be Mike. Mike, thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Doug Hobson.
And Doug Hobson, the Vice Mayor. Yep. Hey, Doug. Good to see you. Is Pete Clausen here? Pete? Not so? We'd also like to recognize Bridget Baird with the United States Senator Bob Corker's office. Thank you. Of course, Patrick James with Senator Alexander's office is here as well. Okay. Anybody I missed? Bill Snodgrass. And Congressman Rowe is here. Oh, Bill Snodgrass with Congressman Rowe. Hey, this sort of theater in the round concept is really interesting. T-Dot Commissioner John Schroer is here as well. John, thank you for being here. That's very
I've been out snow plowing the road. I got some salt on my shoes.
Timing is perfect. I did want to thank T-Dot for keeping the interstate, the road up to this building, which is their building that they maintain. And we appreciate very much their efforts to keep us all safe and sound today for this event. So thank you, Commissioner. That's right. We'll go ahead and get into the program area now. Rex Boner is the Vice President of the Southeast Region of the Conservation Fund. Rex and the fund have been very, very involved, as well as with Ralph Knoll and other individuals to help make this work. They've been working for many, many years on these efforts. I know he's going to talk about that in a second, but I just want to express appreciation to him for their efforts, because their focus is really about economic development and conservation going hand in hand. And that's what this project is a lot about, I think. We'll learn more in a few minutes. But anyway, without further ado, please welcome Rex Bowman.
Thank you. It's great to see so many friends and allies and colleagues here. I had a great script. The governor looked at it and said, you need to shorten it. So I follow orders. I'm going to shorten it. But I want to say a few things just to sort of reflect on the past really 5 years of the Conservation Fund's involvement in this community. I want to welcome you for being here today, and we will always love Mother Nature in all her moods, and she got a little nasty last night, but it worked out today. We appreciate that. I wanted to also thank a couple others. I mean, Sheriff Mike Hensley again came out and devoted time with inmates cleaning up Rocky Fork. We got to see the entrance of it today. You saw how beautiful it was. He went way back. We didn't get back there. I want to say a thank you, a shout out to you. And behind him, Marie and Roger Rice also pulled out of there after dark one night with their bush hog and their tractor trying to get our place to look great. Well, we're here today for a celebration, folks. It's a celebration of a place, and it's a celebration of the community, and the two are connected. And I will try to shorten what I can. There's some great history and stories here. The place is Rocky Fork, and you know that. You've heard that. It's a 10,000-acre, one-of-a-kind piece of property. It's right. It would normally be the backdrop, maybe Flint Mountains poking out now through the cloud. Beautiful piece of property and a flag pond. The National Forest surrounds it. As you've heard, it's got wonderful trout streams, black bear habitat, and so forth. I've had the privilege to sort of start in the celebration. I'll try to make it quick and move on. And as Brock said, with the Conservation Fund, we work with communities across America, and we help protect about 7 million acres of critical habitat and greenways and so forth, just like Rocky Fork. My colleagues today with me are Shannon Lee, Stacy Funderburk, and then I wanted to sort of give a shout out to Ralph Noe, my other associate, who also has worked. I need to say no more. Ralph back here, he's been the boots on the ground. He's been the face in the community. He's eaten a lot of apple pie. And he's had a lot of coffee, but he's made this thing work, okay? And Ralph, just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you.
Well, in 1907 in Memphis, Tennessee, President Teddy Roosevelt said, "The conservation of natural resources is a fundamental problem. Unless we solve that problem, it will avail us little to solve all others." I can't say it nearly that eloquently. That says it all. That was 1907 here in the volunteer state, a little further down the road the other end, but that said it. Conservation. Well, while Rocky Fork is an iconic place, it's a special place. The people here have enjoyed it for decades. It's always been privately owned, and we never knew what the future would hold for the property. And in a way, it became our local conservation problem, or I would say challenge. And we tried to figure out collectively how to balance conservation with economics and economic returns. And as we ventured into this unknown territory, Ralph, we quickly learned about the character of the people in this community, the spirit of the people, the resolve of the people. They were determined to make this work, and they sort of helped us understand how to make it work. We had many hours of discussions, negotiations, agreements, disagreements, but they gave us a chance. And 4 years later, we're getting close to trying to meet the dreams in the community with the community support. Over 20 years ago, outdoor enthusiast, attorney, and I believe former judge Ed Williams brought a group of us to Rocky Fork 20 years ago, and he said, "Folks, if we do nothing else, we must protect Rocky Fork for future generations." Well, as many as you may know, Ed unfortunately passed away due to cancer, but he was a great inspiration to all of us. And we're here today to celebrate because thanks to him, many of the rest of you in this room, Rocky Fork is protected. Mission accomplished. But I have to say a few thank yous, and you know it starts at the top. And we've had a very long, productive relationship with Senator Alexander over the years. The Conservation Fund, the founder of the Conservation Fund, Pat Noonan, and Senator Alexander have done great work across America together, and we've been honored and pleased to work with you on Rocky Fork. And I can safely say that this would not have happened without you, and we appreciate that. $30 million coming from Washington, D.C. in the last 4 years is unbelievable. It came from the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Please, everybody, remember that name. It's a fund for projects like this. It needs to continue to exist and be funded, and he worked hard to bring those dollars to Rocky Fork. None of these things happen by themselves. Senator Corker, and Bridget, I believe, is in the back of the room representing the senator. He quickly saw the importance of this, and he too supported it, as did former Congressman Davis in the early phase of Rocky Fork and current Congressman Rowe recently. Everybody was on board. They heard the community. They heard how important it was, and they worked hard. The state provided $6 million to its Heritage Conservation Trust Fund, another program that's been great, has helped, and I'm not sure if any of the board members are here today, but Drew Goddard. Pardon?
He's here too.
Mary, welcome. Mary Johnson is on that Trust Fund Board. And
Pete Clausen just walked in.
Pete Clausen, okay. Any other board members of the Heritage Trust Fund? So important to this project and other projects across the state. We appreciate that. Over $4 million were raised privately, private institutions and individuals, including a major contribution from the Lyndhurst Foundation in Chattanooga. I don't know if their president, Russ Clark, made it, but he wanted to be here today. You have to have local leaders and visionaries, and on this one is Mayor Greg Lynch, Unicoi County. He had the vision to protect Rocky Fork and to make it produce economically, and he put that challenge to us and said, you can't let us down, so we worked hard, and he helped address this fundamental conservation challenge, and thanks, Mayor, for all you've done. Likewise, the City of Unicoi Mayor Johnny Lynch, same way, guys, we've got to get this done. It's important. And the County Commission, they worked us over, I'll say that. They worked us hard. The County Commission said, you know, we're struggling financially. We can't take land off the tax roll. That's not going to work here. And we said, we hear you. We all got our pencils out and our erasers out and went back over the numbers and tried to find ways to make it work. And I hope today's program will be a good outcome. Dr. Mickey Hatcher is here. He's the current chairman. Dr. Hatcher and Doug Bowman, past chairman, worked arm in arm with us, as did a lot of other members of the community. U.S. Forest Service, you know the Cherokee National Forest, the work they've done. Their now former supervisor, Tom Speaks. Tom, where are you? Here's the man that did it in the U.S. Forest Service. You know, I don't know what to say except Tom got it done. I'll shorten that part. And he had the support of his agency, and they all did a great job. You know, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, as you folks know, has been associated with Rocky Fork for what, over 50 years, Director Carter? They leased it from all the previous private landowners so it could be publicly available for all of us to enjoy, and we appreciate that. And they were involved in this project. Director Carter, I think John Gregory, Regional Director, and Pete Wyatt are here today. And we want to thank all of you for your role and your support. Okay, getting close to the end, but a lot of other very important organizations. The Southern Appalachian Highlands Conservancy, I don't know if Carl Silverstein is here. He is. He's the director. Jay Lutzy, a board member, and there may be other board members and members here supportive of this, and it's a chance to shout out and say thank you. It's a local, regional land trust organization that stepped over and said, we're going to get this done in Tennessee, and we appreciate that. Likewise, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. Do we have any representatives? Morgan, the man, is the regional director here in the South, and again, he said, let's get it done, let's work it. They've since designated Irwin as an Appalachian Trail community. They've opened a lot of doors, and a lot of other doors are going to open. Okay, it takes a village to get this done. Y'all are part of the village. In fact, I'd like to ask those who had any connection or role in this effort with Rocky Fork, raise a hand. All right, come on, raise it. That says it all. And most of them are registered to vote. Okay, I'll end with another statement from President Roosevelt. While he said the previous one, he also said, it is not what we have that will make us a great nation. It is the way in which we use it. And I hope everyone will enjoy the rest of the program because it's going to talk about use of Rocky Fork moving forward.
Thank you. Director Ed Carter of TWRA has already been referenced by Rex. We at Tennessee State Parks work a lot with TWRA. We have a lot in common. We both we share an enthusiasm for the great outdoors, but we also work to serve the citizens of the state of Tennessee. We work with them to allow hunting in some of our state park locations. They work with us to allow access onto hunting areas for our hikers and other outdoor recreators. So we appreciate very much the partnership that we have put together, and we hope to have an even bigger and better one here at Rocky Fork. Looking forward to hearing what you've got to say. Please welcome Ed Carter.
Thank you very much, and I want to just take just a couple of seconds to say thanks to our local officials, especially the people in this area that have always worked so closely with us Senator Alexander and Governor Haslam for what they've done to help bring this forward. About 60 years ago, the then Game and Fish Commission declared this area, through the help of the local people, as Unicoi Wildlife Management Area. And since then, through a lot of changes, it's become known as Rocky Fork Wildlife Management Area, without a single break through all of that time. At that time, it was primarily deer and bear and those species that we knew well, but we've come to find out since then there are unique species of birds and salamanders and fish that occupy that same area. A lot of special needs conservations, areas that we're trying to work with everyone to preserve. It's been a great partnership. We're looking forward to continue that going, to help make sure that wildlife management through the rest of this time is incorporated into everything we do as it has been in the past. And all those people that have made that happen, we're very appreciative of that. So thank you to everybody that was involved.
We'd hoped to have the Commissioner of the Department of Tourism and Development today, but she had some other schedule changes, so she was not able to be with us. I do want to express appreciation, though, to David Jones and to the management of this visitor center, which is this welcome center, which is managed by the Department of Tourism and Development, for helping us to get all this stuff together, so we could have a plan to be outside, and then we could change that plan to be inside and still have it work. So thank you very much, Department of Tourism. Thanks. I've had the great pleasure of having the opportunity since the 1st of March of last year to work very closely with our next person where I'm going to introduce, my boss, Bob Martineau. Bob and I have been sort of traveling throughout the state a little bit together from time to time, trying to see as many parks as possible. I've been fortunate enough to see them all. I encourage everybody here to do the same. Bob's been with me on several occasions. His background is really, he's an attorney by profession. His background is more on the regulatory side, but he has really embraced the state park system and embraced all things. He's a golfer. He enjoys his time on the Tennessee Golf Trail, but he's equally just as comfortable on the Cumberland Trail or any other trail in any state park throughout our systems. I'm very, very proud to introduce a good friend and a great boss, Bob Martineau.
First, thank you all for being here, and I will try to keep it brief because I haven't had my performance review with my boss yet, and he said keep it short. But first, thank you all. We've got nothing on the Postal Service because rain or sleet or snow, you all are here today, and as Rex identified, this really is a wonderful occasion that was through the help of many partners, public and private, local government, state government, federal government, to get to where we are today and make this vision move forward to a reality and protect this land. And one of the great things that we're trying to do is recognize that, and the governor has recognized, is the balance and the need that we can protect key pieces of property like this and foster what makes Tennessee a great place to live, while we also promote economic development in communities and provide a healthier and more fit Tennesseans as we move forward and try to move our state forward. And the parks and the local economic development activity that those bring to the communities. UT did a study a couple of years ago and said the economic impact of our state park system is about $750 million across the state. And we're really trying to work to promote health and fitness and hiking and whatever form of recreation folks have at those parks. And the real leader in that vision is our governor and my boss, and it is my pleasure to introduce him today to say a few words and thank him for being here. Thank you.
Thank you all. It is really, really good to be here. It is very impressive to have a United States Senator, to have the Lieutenant Governor of the state Senator, 2 representatives, but this is my opinion only, but I think it's probably true. We also have the very best First Lady in all of the country here. CS here. This is really an incredible story about how things can and should work. I mean, going back, like I said, for 60 years from the Fish and Game Commission, now TWRA, helping oversee this land that's been used by people, and then local communities, and actually maybe even some cost to them, as was referenced in terms of tax revenue, et cetera, being willing to say, this is a special place. And then the federal government playing a role, thanks to some very well-placed senators, but coming in and turning this into entire 10,000-acre tract into 8,000, which will stay with the U.S. Forestry Service, and 2,000 acres, which will come to the state of Tennessee. But within all that, and it was interesting to see how many different folks are represented on different boards and agencies that have been a part of this just out of the sheer goodness of your heart. And Rex and everybody that you help represent, thank you. It's a uniquely American thing what we're talking about here today. This really wouldn't happen anywhere else. In other countries, maybe the government would buy it. But nowhere else would you have this kind of confluence of individuals and people and organizations who've come together and say this is important and we want to keep it. Let me ask you a quick question, a quick test here. Well, why do we have state parks? What are they for? Recreation. Recreation's one answer. What else? Conservation, right? And that's probably, those are the two big reasons. So to date, we have had 54 state parks in Tennessee. But it's a real privilege to announce that Rocky Fork will be the 55th state park. It will carry certain distinctions. It will be the highest altitude state park that we have. But it's just a little slice of what is wonderful about this part of the world. We got a chance to, unfortunately, it's a little weather inhibited, but take a short hike, and I said, I grew up with the Smoky Mountain National Park, 30 minutes from my house, and this rivals any of the most gorgeous spots in the Smokies. It really does. A lot of heads are nodding like you're right. And, you see the waterfalls and the incredible protected woodland areas. It's a great thing to have. And so in Tennessee, what we want to do is we want to protect those things that make Tennessee special, and then we want to provide opportunities for all of our citizens to be out and enjoy that. And this is going to allow us to do both those. So thank you. I told Rex when we were up there, every now and then this job you realize you're really just running a relay. People come before you and you hand the baton, and sometimes you get handed the baton places you don't want. You're like, a lap behind the race. But every now and then you get handed and you're just about to break the finish line. And I feel like that here. We just kind of came in at the end point of a lot of people that have been working. And we're really excited to do our part then to make this an incredible state park. It will be a great place for all that, but also will be of economic benefit. Mayors Lynch and Lynch, thank you all very, very much. It really is an extraordinary thing. So all of that being said, there are a lot of people that deserve this, but personal opinion, I shouldn't, probably a whole lot of people could be at the front of that line. We really wouldn't be here today without Lamar Alexander. It's just true. His working the process so that we could, that land could be set aside, federal dollars could be used. It just wouldn't happen without Lamar, and it wouldn't have happened unless Lamar really cared about this. I've known him for a long time now, and I think of the things he's the most proud of being governor 30 years ago, and the things he's been able to do as senator is keeping Tennessee. Lamar has a saying that he says, you get in trouble when you quit sounding like where you're from. Okay? But he would also say you get in trouble when where you're from quit looking like what it's always looked like. And thanks to his efforts, we can make sure this part of Tennessee will always look as gorgeous as it has. Join me in thanking Senator Lamar Alexander.
I think our governor's gotten pretty eloquent. He's pretty good. My job, I'm sort of the wrap up here, and I was thinking about how to do that, and I was thinking our late friend, the author Alex Haley, who wrote Roots, used to say, find the good and praise it. And I think that's what we're really doing this afternoon. And first, I want to say to Governor Haslam, Lieutenant Governor Ramsey, and the other state officials who are here, it's one thing just to acquire a piece of property. It's another thing to do something with it. And the news that this will be Rocky Fork State Park, the 55th state park, is great news for Upper East Tennessee and for the people of Tennessee. And I want to thank you for that, and I'm glad to be here. And before I thank a couple of other people, let me just say why it's so important. I mean, what the governor has done is turn what has been a persistent problem in Unicoi County into an opportunity. A persistent problem has been the amount of land that the federal government owns in Unicoi County, and whether it's Bowman's or Lynch's or anybody who's ever been in office around here, I must have had 400 conversations about that problem and what we could do about it. Well, this says we're going to take this 10,000 acres, 2,000 of it be a state park, a gateway to the Appalachian Trail. We're going to make it a more attractive place for people who love the outdoors to come, to enjoy, to spend their money, and build up the tax base in Unicoi County. That's the whole idea of it. And if it can happen in Maryville, and if it can happen in Sevierville, and it can happen in Asheville, it can happen in Irwin and Unicoi County. So that's the idea. So give your local officials some credit, and give the governor some credit for taking a problem that's been a problem for a long time and turn it into an opportunity. Now finally, I'd like to say a word of the Conservation Fund is indispensable to this. I mean, basically we've all enjoyed Rocky Fork over the years because TWRA has just leased it and we've gone on it. Most people didn't even know who owned it, really. We just enjoyed it. But the Conservation Fund bought it and held it until the people could buy it for ourselves. And the money that came from Washington really didn't come from Washington. It comes from the Land and Water Conservation Fund, which is funded by a portion of offshore oil drilling. It's for this purpose. And then the state of Tennessee put in some money. And so now it's ours. Now it's ours. So I hope, and in addition to that, Governor and I were just driving down that beautiful highway over to North Carolina. So I think we've got the whole thing here in this part of Upper East Tennessee. We've got wonderful access. We've got now, thanks to the governor's decision, a beautiful state park. We've got we've got a gateway to the Appalachian Trail, which Irwin has already been named, and it gives us something to work for to create a bigger tax base and a larger number of jobs here. So I'm so glad to be invited to come today, and I want to say to everybody involved, the Conservation Fund, the local leadership, and the legislators who are here, the Lieutenant Governor, but especially the Governor Haslam, for his decision to create the 55th State Park at Rocky Fork. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Alexander. Somewhere in this building, there is a cake, a birthday cake. I'm not real sure where, but this is the 75th anniversary of Tennessee State Parks. You can see it right here. There's a birthday cake, and we want y'all, if you have an opportunity, stick around, get a piece of cake, and celebrate with us. It's also, and we're not going to embarrass him by singing to him, but it's also Bob Martineau's birthday. I'm sure.
Is he 75?
Not quite 75, but he's getting there. We're going to close it out by letting Joseph play one more piece.